Hi friends, welcome to our new session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the internal architecture of 8086. Fine. So, this most people will be learning 8086 as their starting processor. So, first of all, you have to know this 8086 is a 16-bit processor. That is, it can transfer 16-bit of data at a time. Okay, or it has an ALU of 16 bits. Okay, that is, it is capable of working on 16 bit of information in one operation or in one cycle. Fine. And look here, that is here in this architecture of 8086, it is divided into two units. That is, first is bus interface unit, that is BIU, and second is execution unit, that is EU. Okay, so why this architecture is divided into two units? Because of pipelining. Okay, so you might have heard about pipelining. That is, this 8086 implements pipelining technique. That is, it will fetch one instruction from the memory, and while executing that instruction, it will side by side fetch the next instruction. That is, it is working on two instructions at a time. Okay, thus saving our time. Okay, that is what pipelining. So here the upper portion is BIU, that is bus interface unit, and lower portion is execution unit, and where this execution unit where the actions taking place. Fine. And this upper unit, that is BIU, it will fetch the instruction from the memory and it pass to the execution unit. Okay, while the execution unit is executing that instruction, this BIU will fetch the next instruction. BIU will be side by side fetching the next instruction in advance. That is, this architecture is doing two things at a time. That is, one for fetching and one for executing. Okay, so remember, every processor will be having three steps. That is, fetch, decode and execute. Okay, so if you can trace the path of this fetching, decoding and execution, you can design any architecture, right? And in this diagram, in this architecture, most of the shapes are what? Rectangular. Okay, most shapes are rectangular. So the other two, that is the two shapes other than this rectangular, you can see two shapes. One is, both are arithmetic circuits. Okay, both are arithmetic circuits, but they are not, both are not ALUs. One is ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit. This is not that. So this ALU is of 16 bit. What is the purpose of ALU? That is, ALU it will perform arithmetic and logical operations, right? So if you consider the suppose add BL comma CL, add BL comma CL. This BL and CL are two registers, and this add is an instruction for adding. This is an assembly language. We'll be discussing registers in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so this is for adding two registers. In order to add two registers, BL and CL, and this action is performed by this ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit. Okay, what about this? This is also, it is an arithmetic circuit, but it calculates what? The physical address. It calculates the physical address. That is, physical address is calculated by, okay, physical address is calculated by, here the physical address is calculated by, that is, physical address is calculated by segment address into 10 plus offset address. Okay, that is, physical address is equal to segment address into 10 plus offset address. This calculation is done by this arithmetic circuit. Fine. So you know this, what is physical address, segment address and offset address and all that. You know, this 8086 memory, it is divided into various segments. That is, code segment, stack segment, data segment, extra segment and all that. Okay, 4 segments. This memory is divided into 4 segments, and each will be having a that is segment address will be there. And this offset address means where the location, where your data is present in the memory. Fine. So this I told this memory is divided into various segments, and this a code segment, it stores the programs. Programs are stored inside the code segment. So this code segment contains the segment address and offset address and all that. Segment address is our starting address. Okay, and this offset address will change. Okay, offset address will change, and after every instruction is fetched, this instruction pointer, it gets incremented by 1. That is instruction pointer, it points to the next instruction. Okay, that points you should keep in mind. Okay, about memory segmentation of 8086, that is memory. Here we are talking only about primary memory, no secondary memory, that is RAM and ROM, only primary memory. Okay, other memories are all for additional storage. Okay, so here it is segment address into 10 plus offset address. Fine. So this BIU will be fetching the instruction. So what is the main purpose of this BIU? It for fetching the next instruction, fetching the instruction. Second one is to calculate the physical address, and third one is to manage the queue. Okay, you can see here a queue, that is 6 byte queue is present. It is of 6 byte queue is present here. Okay, so this see, it is of 6 byte. Okay, because you know the maximum instruction, biggest instruction, it will be of 6 byte. This instruction, it can be of 1 byte, it can be of 2 byte, it can be of 3 byte. So the biggest instruction is of 6 byte. That is why this queue is of 6 byte storage. Okay, queue. And why this queue? Because it is queue is first in first out. Okay, the fetch the instruction should be executed in first in first out manner, right? So that is why we are queue here. That is why queue here. Okay, so this queue implements the 6 byte queue implements pipelining. Okay, all the instructions, that is BIU will be fetching the instruction in advance, right? So such instruction, such fetching, we call it as pre-fetching. And all the pre-fetching instructions are stored inside the queue. That is, all the future instructions are getting stored inside the queue. Okay, so this queue is of 6 byte storage, and the queue is refilled when at least 2 bytes are empty. Why? At least 2 bytes are empty. Queue is refilled when at least 2 bytes are empty, because you know this, it is 8086 is a 16-bit processor, that is, it can transfer 16 bit of information. So we need 2 bytes to be empty for refilling the queue. Fine. So that is what so each this execution unit will take each instruction from the queue. Okay, and execute that instruction, and BIU will fetch the instruction, will fetch 6 byte instruction, and it will place it inside the queue. Okay, that is what. And this BIU, it contains you know these are all segment registers, that is extra segment, code segment, stack segment, data segment, and instruction pointer. These are all segment registers which is used to calculate the segment address and all that, and this physical address calculation here. Okay, that is about and you know in this memory it is divided into segments, and here the segment registers are present in the BIU. Okay, fine. Then that is about the functions of BIU. Okay, functions of BIU. Okay, one more point to add, that is, you know, this processor and memory is separate. So this amount of memory that you can access, it depends upon the address bus. In 8086, we have 3 buses, right? Buses: data bus, address bus, and control bus. So this 8086, it have 20-bit address bus. So this BIU will be calculating the 20-bit physical address. Okay, and this BIU, it will fetch the instruction through databus. It will be fetching the instruction through databus. Fine. And next, consider two instructions, that is move BL comma CL, move BL comma 25H. Okay, so these are two instructions written in assembly language. Move is an instruction, right? So this BL and CL, here BL indicates the destination, CL indicates the source. So here BL will be getting the value of CL. Okay, BL will be getting the value of CL. That is, BL is the destination and CL is the source. Fine. So here in this register, two registers BL, CL, it will be having an opcode. Every register and instruction will be having a unique opcode. Okay, but consider this operand 25. It is a number. The number will not be having any opcode. No opcode exists for numbers. The registers and instruction will be having unique opcode. Okay, because this registers and instruction are limited in size, but numbers are so many. Okay, so if you write or if you generate opcode for 25H, it should have an opcode for 26H, 27H, like that. So it's not possible. So there is an instruction move. So move instruction, there is no unique opcode. Okay, fine. The opcode will be, that is, this opcode will be in the form of what? Binary digits. That is, it will be in the form of like this, in the form of, that is, this instruction, it is fed into the assembler. That is, the assembler, what is the role of assembler? That is to convert assembly language into machine language. It will be in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, so that is the opcode, and finally to the memory, and finally to the processor. Okay. So you just remember, for every register and instruction, there is a unique opcode. No opcode exists for numbers, and this is called as operand. Okay, operand. Fine. Okay, so this fetching portion is over. Next step is what? Decoding. Okay, so this control section will perform decoding. So what is decoding? Just we are converting it to zeros and ones? No, because the instruction is taking from the memory, right? Instruction is fetched from the memory. Okay, so in the memory, the instruction, it will be in the form of what? Binary format. So no need for conversion. So this control system will understand the opcode. Okay, will understand the opcode, and it passes the signals to this execution unit. That is, okay, it is an opcode for addition, to perform addition. We have written add BL comma CL. Okay, it is an instruction to be executed, so it is an addition process need to be carried out. So just passes the control signals to the execution unit. Okay, so let's see what all things are in the execution unit. You can see in this execution unit we have registers. We have general purpose registers, that is AH, AL, BH, BL, CH, CL, DH, DL. These are all what? General purpose registers. General purpose registers means the registers that can be used by programmers. Registers used by programmers that can use for programming. Okay, programming. So this AH and AL, we call that is AX. This is AX, BX, CX and DX. This A stands for accumulator. This AX will be is a combination of AH plus AL. AH plus AL equal to AX. Then BH plus BL is BX. CH plus CL is CX. DH plus DL is DX. So this AX, it will be of 16 bits. Okay, 16 bits. And so this AH will be having 8 bit. Okay, and AL will be having 8 bit. Okay, and this H indicates higher byte. L indicates lower byte. Suppose I have written the instruction here, that is move CX comma 1 2 3 4 H. Okay, CX comma 1 2 3 4 H. So here AH will be getting the value 12 and AL will be the register is CX. So CH will be getting the value of 12 and CL will be getting the value of 3 4. Okay, like that. 12, that is move CX comma 1 2 3 4 H. So CX means what it is? It's a combination of CH plus CL. So CH is 12, CL is 34. CH indicate higher byte, CL indicate lower byte. Okay, like that. Then so these are our general purpose registers. Okay, then you can see SP, BP, SI, DA, that is SP stack pointer, BP base pointer, SI source index, DI destination index. These are all offset address. Okay, these are all offset address. So we'll be discussing all registers in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so just understand these are general purpose registers that is used by the programmers for programming purpose. Okay, then you can see an arithmetic logic unit here, which is of 16 bit, right? Arithmetic logic unit of 16 bits. And you can see operands and flags. These are all in the execution unit. So this BAU, it will fetch the instruction. It will be fetching the instruction from memory. Execution unit is taking the instruction from the queue, right, for execution. So before that, this queue from the instruction from the queue, it is passed into the control section for decoding. And it will get the instruction in the form of 0 1 1 0 1 0 1 like that, because this is an opcode. Okay, so it will understand the opcode and it passes the signals to the execution unit. Fine. So you consider this an example. If we want to add that is 04H plus 05H equal to 09H. If we want to add this and we store this value in BL and store this value in CL, and finally the result should be in BL. Okay, result should be in BL. So how we can write this? That is, here we can write this as move BL comma 04H, right? Move BL comma 04H, that is 04H, that is BL gets the value of 04H. This is the destination and this is the source. Here BL will get the value 04. Okay, then next instruction is move what? CL comma 05H. Move CL comma 05H, right? This instruction 04H should be placed in BL, 05H should be placed in CL, and the result should be in BL. So this, how can we write this instruction? That is move BL comma 04H. So BL gets a value of 04. Move CL comma 05H. So CL gets a value of 04. Finally, we can perform what? Addition. That is add BL comma CL. Add BL comma CL. Okay. So this instruction is add BL comma CL. This there is an opcode for corresponding this instruction. There is an opcode, that is there is an opcode for addition. You know, the add is an instruction, an opcode exists for add. BL and CL, they are registers, and an opcode exists for registers too. So finally the output is, it will be in the form of like this, combination of zeros and ones, right? And this will be present in the control system. So control system will understand this opcode, and it is for addition. We need to perform addition, and it passes the signals, and and BL gets the value of 0.4. Where is BL? Okay, BL will be getting the value of 0.4, right? And CL will be getting the value of what? 0.5. Okay, CL will be getting the value of 0.5. It passes the value to this resistor and will perform what? Addition. That is, addition is performed by this arithmetic logic unit. That is, will get the value of 0.4. It passes this value 0.4 plus 0.5 and finally the output is 0.9H. The output is what? 0.9H and it will passes the this result into this what? Into this register, that is BL. BL gets the value of what? BL gets a value of 0.9H. Okay. Likewise, this operation goes, execution unit will execute. And also, what is the need of this section, this arrow? What is the need of this arrow? I will make it clear. That is, if we want to suppose we can also add this, we can also transform this into like this, move BL comma 0.4H and add but BL will be having the value of 0.4H, then add BL comma 0.5H. This also is correct, right? That is, move BL comma 0.4H, that is BL will be having 0.4, then add BL comma 0.5H, so BL will be having 0.4, so add 0.4H comma 0.5H, right? But here no opcode exists for this, because this is what? This is an operand. This is an operand. No opcode exists for numbers. Okay, so finally we will have the opcode for add and BL. Okay, fine. Then this value of 0.5H will be directly that is no opcode for this number, so no need to go to this decoding part. That is, it can directly come over here. Okay, so that is the purpose of this arrow. This is the purpose of this arrow, and the value will be directly before going any registers. No need for going to the registers. The value will be directly fed into this address bus. Okay, that is the that is another way of writing this instruction. That is by using this number, that is operand. No need for decoding 0, because it is number. No decoding for a number. No opcode exists for any number. Okay, that is what about this architecture. And last section also you can see an operands and flag. Operands means it is a temporary register. Okay, it is it's a temporary register for storing some values, like if we want to exchange some values. Okay, if we want to exchange, if we want to perform any exchange, okay, then you need to put that value in the temporary register and all that. So this operands will be having a temporary register. Okay, then flags means it just indicate the status. Okay, status, okay, about this operation, status about the operation. That is what the points in this 8086 architecture, and you have to go through this architecture, that is thoroughly. And once you understand this 8086 architecture clearly, you can study any processor. Okay, this because 8086 architecture, it is the base, it is the foundation. So once you understand this architecture 8086, you can will be able to study any architectures, any advanced processors. That is mainly you have to keep the point, that is an architecture and processor will have 3 steps, that is fetch, decode and execute. So once you can trace the path of this, you can study and design any architecture. Okay, then thank you.